Even the swiftest can be caught if the hunter is patient enough to wait. There is no malice in the chase, only need, sharpened to a point. The one that escapes today carries the memory of it forever. What was concealed at night becomes part of the visible world again. The return of light restores distance, direction, and scale. The horizon becomes a guide for movement across open country. Morning visibility allows animals to reassess their surroundings. New tracks, changed water levels, or signs of danger can now be recognized. Landmarks reappear and the plains become navigable once more. Every dawn reveals what happened during the unseen hours. Some signs are temporary and will disappear beneath wind or movement. Sunrise marks the moment when these clues become readable. The Savannah begins each day with information written across its surface. Those able to interpret it gain an important advantage. Across the African savannah, dawn continues to return with quiet certainty. Others will remain long after the morning is past. The land carries evidence of the night into the new day. Dawn is a time of revelation across the landscape. Among the giants, family bonds can be as important as physical strength. Protection often begins with positioning rather than direct conflict. Adults may place themselves between danger and the smallest members of the group. A circle of powerful bodies can turn a vulnerable youngster into a difficult target. The strongest defense may be a calm refusal to retreat. When threatened, these animals can transform from peaceful feeders into formidable opponents. Horns, tusks, hooves, weight, and momentum give them many ways to defend themselves. Even experienced predators must judge the danger of approaching too closely. One careless attack can bring serious injury to the hunter. The giants survive partly because they are capable of making the cost of attack extremely high. Yet, strength does not remove the need for caution. The open plains still contain hidden danger, unstable ground, and long distances between resources. A large animal must protect its legs because mobility is essential to survival. An injury that seems small can make travel, feeding, and defense far more difficult. Crossing difficult ground becomes a test of patience and coordination. Every step is supported by a body designed to carry extraordinary weight. Their feet spread pressure across soft ground and help maintain balance over uneven terrain. Mud, steep banks, and broken earth can challenge even the most powerful traveler. The safest route is rarely chosen by speed alone. Their early world is shaped by the protection of the herd. These giants often move with measured care, preserving energy for what lies ahead. Large animals must control body temperature while continuing to meet their nutritional needs. Heat places another burden on their massive bodies. During the strongest sun, shade and water become valuable forms of relief. Their movement stirs sediment and opens pathways through dense growth. Repeated visits shape the physical character of the site. A heavily used shoreline can look completely different from a protected one. Mud is pressed, vegetation is broken, and access points become wider. The source becomes partly shaped by the lives that depend on it. Natural waterholes are never passive features in the landscape. They respond to every season, storm, footprint and current. The balance between use and renewal determines how long they remain productive. During harsh periods, pressure increases as alternative sources disappear. A single pool may carry the demands once spread across a much larger region. Crowding changes both behavior and the condition of the water. the shoreline becomes more disturbed as visits grow more frequent. Water quality may decline even while its importance increases. Old routes become important when nearby water can no longer meet demand. Scarcity makes every remaining source more valuable and more vulnerable. The fate of the pool begins to influence the fate of the surrounding plains. When it finally dries, movement must shift elsewhere. The departure from a drying water source can redirect entire groups across unfamiliar terrain. Memory guides repeated journeys toward places that have remained dependable in difficult years. Some paths are used so often that they become visible long before the water itself appears. The approach to water usually begins with signs in the vegetation and soil. Birds respond quickly to this concentration of food. Larger animals arrive for water but also influence everything around it. Dampness underfoot may announce the source before the surface comes into view. Bird activity can also reveal moisture hidden beyond trees or tall grass. The gathering can last only as long as the opportunity remains. This mobility allows birds to respond faster than many ground-dwelling animals. Flight turns distant resources into reachable possibilities. Yet every extra kilometre still carries an energetic cost. Birds must gain more from a journey than they spend making it. This balance influences where they search and how long they remain. An apparently random path may actually be a careful sampling of the landscape. Small turns allow a bird to inspect multiple areas without landing. Repeated passes can reveal whether a location is worth approaching. From above, caution can be practiced before physical contact with the ground. This is especially useful near unfamiliar water or dense vegetation. Landing reduces the immediate freedom to escape in any direction. For that reason, birds often observe before committing. A brief hover or circle can provide the final information needed. The decision to descend may be reversed in an instant. Airborne caution helps reduce exposure to hidden threats. Once on the ground, the bird's relationship with the sky changes. New rainfall can produce sudden concentrations of insects. Birds may arrive quickly to use this brief source of food. When conditions decline, the sky empties again. Takeoff may require open space, speed, or a strong upward leap. Heavy birds need more room than small, agile species. Some run across the ground before becoming airborne. Body size strongly influences how quickly danger can be escaped. Others rise almost vertically with rapid wing beats. Others remain upright through a wide foundation buried beneath the dust. The oldest roots may extend far beyond the shadow of the canopy. They cross unseen boundaries and compete with grasses, shrubs, and neighboring trees. During drought, this underground competition becomes increasingly intense. Every plant draws from a reserve that cannot be seen from the surface. The quiet plains conceal a struggle taking place beneath every step. Roots release chemical signals and alter the soil around them. Fungi connected to those roots can help trees reach nutrients in difficult ground. This hidden partnership continues even when the visible landscape seems lifeless. The survival of a tree may depend on organisms too small to be noticed. The dry season is sustained by relationships that remain almost entirely underground. Bark becomes the first shield against the extreme conditions of the season. Its rough surface reduces damage from heat, insects, and passing animals. Each outer layer has been built over years of exposure. Deep grooves in an old trunk trap cooler air and protect the living layers within. Thicker bark can slow the movement of heat toward the tree's vulnerable tissues. Cracks may widen as the trunk loses moisture, then tighten again when the rains return. The bark changes with the weather even when the tree appears unchanged. Insects investigate these openings, turning the trunk into a vertical habitat. A single tree can host life in every crack, hollow, and fold. The form above ground often reflects the obstacles below it. Some trunks lean because their roots found strength in only one direction. Loose pieces fall away, revealing fresher surfaces beneath. Alarm calls can reveal danger, but they can also expose the presence of hidden prey. Flocks gathering above one area may signal activity below. Scavengers moving with purpose can guide larger hunters toward a possible meal. Competition encourages predators to notice every change in the wider community. A meal found through observation may cost less energy than one secured through pursuit. Scavenging is not weakness. It is an efficient response to an unpredictable environment. Most predators use every safe source of food available to them. carcass can support many lives, but it can also attract serious danger. Approaching an existing meal requires caution because the owner may still be nearby. Scent reveals the freshness of a carcass and the likelihood of recent activity. Even after feeding begins, the predator must remain alert to approaching rivals. Eating quickly can be essential when ownership of the food is uncertain. Large pieces may be carried away to reduce the risk of confrontation. Hidden feeding sites can offer temporary protection from stronger competitors. Yet, concealment is rarely perfect on an open landscape. Sound, scent, and circling birds can expose a meal from far away. Rivals often arrive before the original hunter has fully recovered from the chase. Defending food consumes energy that may already be in short supply. The challenge lies in recognizing the difference before it is too late. Predators often use the behavior of other animals as an early source of information. Bare patches can become important visual markers across the landscape. Their edges often show where plants are beginning to return. Even the emptiest ground remains connected to the wider ecosystem. Dust is one of the most visible signs of movement across the savannah. It rises behind animals, wind, and passing storms. A pale cloud can reveal activity long before its source is clear. Dust softens the horizon and changes the color of sunlight. During dry weather, it becomes part of the atmosphere itself. Fine particles settle on grass, leaves, and exposed ground. The next wind lifts them again and carries them elsewhere. Dust links the soil to the sky through constant movement. Its presence reflects the dryness and exposure of the plains. Their shadows can cover enormous sections of the plains. Across endless grasslands, even the air can carry the color of the earth. Clouds alter the scale and mood of the open country. Large formations seem even more powerful above a flat horizon. One cloud may darken the grass while surrounding areas remain bright. This temperature difference affects air movement above the plains. These moving shadows create a temporary landscape of contrast. Every pause gives the animals time to compare what they hear with what they can see. Some individuals lift their heads more often, becoming temporary sentries for those still feeding. Experience helps adults distinguish harmless disturbance from a genuine threat. Alertness passes through the herd in subtle waves, rather than loud commands. A twitching ear, a stiffened neck, or a single backward glance can change the mood around them. The animals continually shift between concentration on food and attention to the wider landscape. That constant division of focus is one of the hidden costs of life as prey. Even when the plains look calm, the herd is collecting information from every direction. Their nostrils test the air while their feet remain ready to move. Sunlight improves visibility, but it also makes everybody easier to see from afar. Cloud shadow can briefly change what the animals notice and how secure they feel. Yet tall grass can hide danger only a few steps away. The open savannah provides few surprises for those that keep watching carefully. Young animals often react too quickly, then learn from the calmer responses of the herd. Herbivores learn to read movement in the vegetation as carefully as movement in other animals. A ripple through the grass may be caused by wind, or it may carry a warning. A sudden silence among nearby birds can be enough to interrupt an entire feeding group. The final hour of sunlight reveals a quieter, more mysterious side of the savannah. Long shadows race ahead of every tree, rock and moving animal. The plains seem to stretch farther when the sun hangs low above the western edge. Warm light settles on the land, while darkness begins gathering in the hollows. At sunset, the savannah briefly becomes a world of fire, silhouette and distance. The sinking sun transforms familiar ground into a landscape of bold shapes and deep contrast. A lone tree can hold the entire evening sky within the outline of its branches. Evening descends across the savannah like a slow curtain, softening the sharp edges of the day. The sun lowers toward the plains, and the landscape begins to trade heat for shadow. Golden light drifts over the grasslands, turning dust and dry stems into glowing strands. As daylight weakens, the horizon becomes a burning line between earth and sky. Dust suspended above the plains catches the final light and glows like smoke without flame. The horizon deepens from gold to copper as the heat of the day slowly releases its grip. Every movement becomes more dramatic when seen against the fading western sky. The last rays skim across the grass, touching only the highest stems. The land endures by turning every change into a new possibility. One scene ends while 1,000 unseen stories begin elsewhere. The land keeps its secrets as the final moment slips away. Every conclusion here belongs to a cycle that has no true beginning or end. The savannah remains active long after the last visible movement disappears. Its story continues in tracks, wind and distant calls. The final frame may be quiet, but the landscape is still alive with purpose. Life carries on across the plains, beyond sight and beyond certainty. As the day changes, the savannah begins to write another chapter. The wilderness offers no final answer, only another season to face. What fades from view remains part of the ecosystem's continuing balance.